The title of this talk is Let Me Go. There's a British band, Queen, sang not infamous, the famous song, Bohemian Rhapsody. And in it, they sing that part, let me go, I will not let you go, let me go, I will not let you go, let me go. You know, sometimes in life we need to know, when do we let things go? When do we not let things go? When do we just leave things for a little bit? Many people struggle with this, whether they're religious or not religious, just when to say things, when not to say things, when to let things go, when to rein things in. In the Acts of the Apostles today, there's a reading that a part of them says, let me go. Gamaliel, the great teacher, said about the disciples who were preaching Jesus, they said, leave these men alone, let them go. If this enterprise, this movement of theirs, in other words, being a follower of Jesus, is of human origin or break up of its own accord, but if it does in fact come from God, you will not only be unable to destroy them, but you might find yourselves fighting against God. So on this note, I think there's a great discontent among priests, among many priests. I think many who I talk to, whether they're younger or older, they say, look, they're exhausting themselves, and some are actually burning out, taking time out of ministry or something else. Burning out, keeping a sacramental, devotional, community culture alive, that is evidently dying, that is not able to pass faith on to the next generation or to outsiders. And I think there is life, whether we know it or not, in some places in the church, like the new movements. So if you don't know, that new movements in England might be something like Youth 2000, Cor et Lumen Christi, in abroad, things like Companions of the Cross. There are so many new movements. And the people who go into these new movements are encountering Jesus, committing their life to follow him, and being filled with his Holy Spirit to be equipped to do it. And the people in those movements are then asking, why isn't this happening in parishes? Why aren't people encountering Jesus, committing their life to him, and being filled with the Holy Spirit to follow him? And on this note, Father James Mallon is a priest in Canada, and he's an author of a book, Divine Renovation. And in the book Divine Renovation, he argues that the church as a whole, as an institution, and parishes in particular, have forgotten our fundamental identity and purpose. In Matthew 28:19, Jesus says, go and make disciples. And he's arguing that we've forgotten that injunction, that command to be and make disciples. And now Divine Renovation, the book, has now actually expanded, in the case spent in 10 years, into a global ministry and movement. And in this movement, it proposes a more missionary and evangelistic model of parish life that models what we're seeing in new movements. And he's identified 3 keys that are not always lived out in parishes. And the 3 keys are evangelization, so encountering Jesus; leadership, the best of leadership principles, leading like Jesus; and the Holy Spirit, having a relationship with the Holy Spirit and experiencing the power of the Holy Spirit. And Father James and Divine Renovation, they propose that suggest that a tool of evangelization, such as Alpha, can actually help parishes become more missional, so that is more invitational, and more evangelistic, to actually help people encounter Jesus. And about Alpha, over 30 million people around the world have done Alpha in every single continent. Many people have had their lives transformed by the process. And I believe God has and is really blessing Alpha to play a part in the church. And there are many parishes who use Alpha not just as a program, but as a cultural tool, a way to use the principles across all of the aspects of church life. The parishes are becoming more missionary, more evangelistic, Priests, lay people, non-churchgoers in the area are coming, their lives are being transformed, and they're just loving the experience of being in parishes. Now, some leaders like divine renovation and some less so. And this is understandable because some people, like change, and some people are missionary and evangelistic by their nature, like I am, and I like that. Now, some people don't like divine renovation as much, maybe because they just simply don't like change too much, or they're not particularly evangelistic and missionary apostolic. They might be more shepherding, or they might be more of focused on teaching, or they might be more focused on sacraments. We need everyone to play their part. But wise leaders say what Gamaliel says: leave these men alone and let them go. If this enterprise, this movement of theirs is of human origin, it will break up of its own accord. But if it does in fact come from God, you'll not only be unable to destroy them, but you might find yourselves fighting against God. So what I want to put to you is really an invitation to join me in helping this parish, but not just this parish. You'll be helping the whole Catholic Church in becoming more missionary, more evangelistic, like Jesus wants the church to do, especially in our strategy to use Alpha. If Alpha, especially in this parish, is of human origin, it will die naturally. And if it does, fine, it's up to God. But if we fight against Alpha, if we fight against renewal, if we fight against the Holy Spirit, evangelization and leadership, you might be fighting against God. So I invite you to join me in finding out, try Alpha, and invite others to try too.